Okay, I think it's now a good time to get started. So throughout the presentation, feel free to ask questions by unmuting yourself or just sending me a question through the chat feature if you feel more comfortable with directly messaging me. But thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Dan Shaw, and I am the Assistant Director of Career Advising and Success and Career Services, and I'm pretty much our go-to LinkedIn person on campus. And I deliver LinkedIn boot camps all throughout the year. So hopefully today I'll do my best to make the best use of your time. Uh, Usually when I work with students in LinkedIn, to a certain extent, everyone knows that you should have a LinkedIn profile, but I don't think sometimes we explain enough actually why you should have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is like any other social media platform. Uh, there are some social media platforms that I have on my phone, but I never go on. For example, I never really use Facebook at all, and it's because nothing on there as of now is relevant or useful to me, as opposed to maybe an Instagram or a LinkedIn or even other type of social media platforms. So just keep in mind that if you create a profile just to create a profile and don't really do anything with it, you're not going to necessarily find any utility in LinkedIn. So today I'm going to hopefully show you the ways in which you can use it to your advantage, and also the ways in which you can use it as a way of marketing your brand and who you are. But primarily, LinkedIn is your number one go-to networking tool that exists. Some people will call it the Facebook of, but for professionals, I'm fine with that. But I use LinkedIn for three reasons. And I would also suggest that you can use LinkedIn for one of these three reasons. So the first is developing and promoting your personal brand or your professional brand. I know a lot of people make a lot of fuss about like the term brand. When I say brand, what I'm talking about is when someone says your name within a professional context, what are the ideas or subjects that you want to come to mind when someone hears your name? So when most people talk about me or think about me, they associate LinkedIn with my name. So that's a part of my professional brand, and that's been very much intentional because I've done that. And so you can use LinkedIn as a way to grow your brand if you already have one established, or to establish one starting out. So professional branding. The second is to network. So I like to use LinkedIn to get out of my own bubble and to meet people that are within my industry and people that are like-minded that I wouldn't normally have access to just being in person. And that's become even more true over the last year. Um, and sometimes when you live in a particular area, or you're used to kind of going around the same circles of people, whether that be your classmates, your immediate social group, you can sometimes get a view of the world that is very skewed. And what I like about LinkedIn, it has over 500 million members on it. So the ability to just hear from other people that are across the country and across the world about what they're doing uh, in the same industry that I'm doing helps me to not only uh, you know stay on top of my game, but takes me to my last point, is which I use LinkedIn for professional development. So by following and interacting with different career advisors and different career professionals and different people that work in higher education, I get to stay on top of what current trends are, what people are talking about, and then what the job market is like. So those are going to be the primary three reasons why I use LinkedIn. But since we have a few people here, if you'd like to introduce yourself and kind of tell me what your experience with LinkedIn is and what are you hoping to get out of today, I greatly appreciate it, because then I can make sure I address what you came here for to make good use of your time. So feel free to introduce yourself, if you would like to, Tim.
Yeah, so my name's Tim Waldron. I'm a senior at UOP. I really don't have a whole lot of LinkedIn experience. I do have a LinkedIn account, but again, like I haven't really set it up to like optimize its functioning. And so really, I think I'm just kind of hoping to kind of get a like an overview of what it should look like. What are some things that I need to kind of focus on and start to clean up as I'm getting ready to finish school, think about master programs or getting out into the job market.
Okay, pleasure to meet you. How about you, Patrick?
Um, so hi, name's Patrick, and I'm here mainly to polish up my LinkedIn profile since I am a part of the professional practice seminar class. So I do have it set up, and I was just curious as to if there's any more that I could do to polish it, and also seeking tips on like networking, as I'm not really too familiar with the networking feature that much, or how to like, uh, I guess, connect to others in a sense.
Okay. And Tim and Patrick, before I move on to Michael, what are your majors?
I'm a technology
I
major.
Oh, wait 1 second, Michael.
Yeah.
Tim, what was your major?
I'm a sociology major.
Okay. And then Patrick?
computer engineering.
Okay. And go ahead, Michael.
I'm a technology major, and I want to join the club. I have LinkedIn for a long time, but I don't know like what to do, like to connect with other people or finding job and like that. So I think that would be a very good job to join.
Okay. And what major were you, Michael?
I'm studying technology.
Okay, psychology. Okay. Pleasure to meet you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I uh, have full editing access to my profile. I'm going to be primarily using my profile today, but as you start to update your account, just remember, what is it? What's that term? Flattery is the greatest form of what's it? Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So as you start to look at LinkedIn and how you should craft your profile, take a look at what people who are in your same industry are putting on theirs, and then that might give you some indication of what you can do. But what I'll first do, I'll split it in two halves today. So I'll primarily go over, since it seems like all of you already have profiles, how to kind of enhance each section of the profile to make sure it's attractive and is being used to the best of its ability. And then next, talking about how to use LinkedIn on a day-to-day basis and how to interact with other individuals and how to network. Sound like a good roadmap? All right, so let me share my screen. All right, so if you all have, and can you all see my screen? Okay, so like I said before, LinkedIn's a social media platform. So if you can navigate like a Facebook or any other type of social media platform, uh, you'll be able to work with LinkedIn. And something to keep in mind is that it's always changing. They're always updating it. So sometimes things might, the formatting of the page, things might switch where they are, but usually LinkedIn stays pretty consistent with its nuts and bolts. Let me go to my profile, and I just want to walk you through the different sections. On that LinkedIn checklist, I include different specific things you want to include within each section. So feel free, if you don't remember something I say today, refer to that. And as always, you can always make an appointment with me to go over your profile more specifics after today. Just make an appointment on Handshake. But so this is going to be the profile. The first thing I want to point your attention to is this area up here where it says edit public profile in URL. So I'm going to click on that. And this is where you can work with your privacy settings. So adjusting what an individual can see who is and who isn't connected with you, similar to, like I said, any other social media platform. But I'm going to draw your attention to two areas on this page. The first is this area here where it says your profile's public visibility. Let's say your profile is under construction and you're not wanting anyone to really find you just yet. You can always turn that on off, and then no one's able to find you. Now, if you want to switch that back, you just click it on to on. And the second thing I want to draw your attention to on this page is this area here where it says edit your custom URL. So if you don't edit your URL for your profile, it's going to be long and ugly. And I always suggest putting your LinkedIn URL on your resume and your contact information section, because for the most part, when I'm working with students who are applying for jobs and they're in their undergraduate years, for the most part, I'll say keep your resume to one page. So sometimes you're not able to include everything on your resume just because of the space confinement. But if you add your LinkedIn URL on your contact information for your resume, then you can put the most relevant information on your resume. And then if they want to see a more well-rounded picture of what you bring to the table, they can just click on your LinkedIn URL and see everything. Because your LinkedIn profile, you're not limited to how much you can put. You can put as much as you want. So make this as close to your name as possible, because the closer it is to your name, the cleaner it's going to be, and also the easier it's going to be for an employer to find you if they Google you, and an employer will Google you. So it's just something to be prepared for. So as you can see, I have a pretty run-of-the-mill name. So you can enter in your middle initial, or you can add in a 1, or you can do underscores, but try to just make that look like your name as much as possible. All right, I'm going to hop back to the profile. All right, so let's go over this top section right here. So in this top section, you're going to see the profile photo, your name, and the headline, which is here. So this background photo, you can just use this as an opportunity to add a personal touch, tell a little bit about yourself. I work at the University of Pacific, so I have the University of Pacific in the background. You could do the same as well. Some people might put something that's related to their area or subject that they're going into or that they're interested in. Some people might put the city in which they live and a picture of there. It's totally up to you. But this photo here, your profile photo, you want to remember a few things. So of course, you want it to be a professional photo. It doesn't have to be taken by a professional photographer. Any phone within the last 3 years will take a nice photo. Just want to make sure it's not a selfie and that's something someone else took of you. And your photo should look how you normally look. So if I saw you in person, your photo should somewhat match up with that. When you think about branding, you want consistency. So let's say I usually wear glasses. I would put glasses in my photo. If my hair is usually a certain way, I would put that hairstyle in that photo. Tim, you have like a facial hair and a beard. If you usually have a facial hair and beard, then I would have that in your photo. So you also want to make sure your face takes up the majority of the frame. From the shoulder up is fine. And then professional clothing just depends on what industry you fall within. Professional in, like, let's say a more sociology related field and tech versus maybe accounting or business are all different. So go with what professional is within the industry you're wanting to go into. As far as your name, you just want to make sure the same exact name you have on your resume is the same name you have on your LinkedIn profile. Remember, we're thinking about consistency. If you have a nickname, so for example, Tim, your birth name might be Timothy, but if I want to be called, if you would like to be called Tim within a professional setting, then I will put down Tim. Your resume and your LinkedIn profile are not legal documents. So if you go by a nickname or a preferred name, feel free to put that down. It'd be similar if I was to meet you in person and I say, hi, my name is Dan, nice to meet you. And you say, hi, my name's Tim, nice to meet you. you're kind of signaling to me there that you would like to be called Tim. So it'd be weird if I called you Timothy in return. So go by the name you would like to be called. And then the next section here is your headline. This is important because a lot of people will just put student here, and that doesn't tell very much about you. And you'll find that LinkedIn is all about algorithms. For example, you want to think about, what can I say about myself that can kind of sum up what I bring to the table, who I am in a few sentences or a few terms. If you look at mine, I have career advisor, so that is my job. And then if you think about career advising, that's still very broad. There's a lot of things you could do within career advising. So I picked some things that I thought were important to highlight about myself. So I put interview coach because that's something I like to think I specialize within when it comes to career advising. And then I also put strong interest inventory certified practitioner. And that's just an important certification within my field. So someone who's looking at my headline can quickly tell what I bring to the table in a few seconds. Another reason why these headlines in this photo and your name are important is because if I put in something like psychology, when someone is searching for certain professionals, and I go underneath people, you'll see that the picture, your name, and then also the headline are important because those are the only things that you can see when you come up in a search. So this could be the difference between someone clicking on your profile and not clicking on your profile. So try to be a little bit more specific about what you bring to the table other than the fact that you're just a student. Go back to here. Okay. Whoops. So for example, if you're in psychology or if you're in sociology, okay, you might put sociology major, but what are you interested in? You might say sociology major interested in social work, sociology worker interested in public policy and research. You might say psychology student interested in developmental psychology or family, marriage and family therapy. So, think about what are some specifics, because if you just put in psychology student, you're going to show up in like a population of like a search feature or search results that comes up with millions of people. So you want to think about, how can I take myself out of this huge bucket and put myself into a smaller one? The more specific you are, the easier it's going to be for someone to find you. And when it comes to your profile, remember, this is a social media platform. Nothing you put down is going to be set in stone. So you can change it anytime you want. So even if you're not sure exactly what you want to do after you graduate, tell me what you're doing right now. What are you interested in? What are you exploring now? So you can kind of, if you kind of have to think of yourself as a brand and you're trying to sell that brand, consider this photo, your name, your headline, similar to a professional billboard or advertisement you might see driving down a highway. You've all seen a personal injury attorney's billboard at some point, right? You'll know right away, you'll see the picture of the attorney, their number, the type of law that they practice, and then also how to contact them. So in a few seconds, you'll know if that person is someone you want to call. So what are some things that you can say about yourself in a few sentences or a few phrases that can kind of sum up if you are someone that is worth looking at, or if you're the right person? Go ahead, Tim.
Would that kind of be similar to like an elevator speech, like something you just kind of want to have like quick, to the point, 30 seconds to a minute and a half or so?
So that's actually going to be the next section we talk about. So if the headline is the billboard, which, like I said, when you look at a billboard, you have a few seconds to look at it, right? This about section, this is the commercial at 30 seconds, right? So think about a personal injury attorney's billboard versus a personal injury attorney's commercial. Now you have a little bit more time to talk about yourself. You have like maybe 30 seconds. Some people might call this a professional introduction or elevator pitch. So here, now you have an opportunity to expand upon the things that you talked about in your headline, so you can get even more information about you. In that about section, you want to include, a few things. You want to say who you are. If you're in psychology, if you're in sociology, what has motivated you to be in this area? Why do you find it interesting? You can highlight some key skills or some qualities about yourself that you want people to know. And then also you can tell me where you're going. So what are you thinking about doing in the future, right? If you are exploring graduate programs right now, then tell me what graduate programs. So just kind of is an expansion of the things that you talk about in that headline, or you mention in your headline. And another thing I should mention in this about section, or in this above section here, is this area where you can write down types of jobs that you're interested in. So if you're going to be looking for a job in the near future, I'm happily employed at UOP, but I entered in some things before this session started. So like hypothetically, if I was to look for a position, these are some positions that I might apply for next level in my career. So you can upload up until 5 job titles. You can put up into 5 locations. You can put if you're open to remote work, when you're willing to start, and also the type of job that you're looking for. And then you can also choose if you want only recruiters to see it, or link, or just all people that come to your profile. And this is important in everything. The reason why I'm suggesting that you be more specific is because about, I would say 95% of employers use LinkedIn as a way to recruit candidates for positions. And specifically recruiters and employers use a platform called LinkedIn Recruiter, which they can put in very specific filters for the type of candidates that they're looking for. So the more you add in information about yourself and what you're looking for, the more you're going to show up in those search results when the recruiter is searching for those individuals. You'll find, like I said, LinkedIn is all about algorithms. So the easier you make it for someone to find you, the better. So that's going to be those first top portions. The next, oh, go ahead.
So for the top section, one thing that I am curious about is like job locations, right? So yeah, there's a section that says like, oh, what 5 job locations you would like. But on the top, it also states, can you scroll up if that's...
Yeah, go ahead. Sure. 1 second.
Yeah, it just says like your location, like above contact info, like Stockton, California, United States. I'm currently in Guam right now, but I'm looking for a co-op / internship that's located in Stockton due to my major. Should I just leave that as Stockton, California?
Yeah, you can. By entering in these locations here, it kind of lets the recruiter know that even though, like, let's say, because these are just random places I put in. So let's say I put down Washington, D.C. of job locations of where I'm willing to go or where I'm looking in. You can put Stockton, California, but by putting these locations in here, you're kind of saying to the recruiter, these are the places I'm willing to go as well, or where I'm looking to work, or what companies and what cities I'm looking for.
Okay. So like, say I'm from Guam, but I have those as my job locations that I would like to work in. Then that would let the recruiter know, like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because you'll find that recruiters can be very specific about the candidates that they're looking for. Because there's a lot of people that are currently Pacific students but are not in Stockton right now. So let's see. And if you're looking for a job abroad, you can always put down those cities, international cities as well.
Okay.
So for example, I have Toronto, Canada down there. That's an international city. Another reason why you want to make sure you fill this out, and like I said, you can change this at any time. Another reason why you want to put this down is because when you go into LinkedIn's job search feature, it'll start sending you specific positions that are related to these filters that you put in.
Right. Okay.
That answer your question? Go ahead, Tim.
Just in terms of job location, would it be bad, like if you're looking to work from home, but you want to, like maybe you want to work at a specific place, but you're hoping to do that at home, would it be bad to kind of lead to that, or to say, you know, work from home, or do you kind of want to seem a little more open and then further down the line?
So you'll notice that here you can put, I'm open to remote work. So I would just click on that. Yeah. And it's changing now that everyone's working from home now. There are certain businesses that have kind of figured out that, oh wow, it is possible for someone to be in Stockton, California, and us be based in Seattle. So I think that'll be changing a little bit more in the future, where employers will become a little bit more flexible. Yeah. So that's going to be your top portion. The next section is the experience section. And this should be the easiest to fill out. I just want you to copy paste exactly what you have on your resume to here. And remember, on your resume, you might not have room to write down everything about the position, but in this section, you can write out as much as you want. And then also, you can give like a little description about what the job was. You can write out some of your duties. You can also write out accomplishments. So there's a lot that you can add here. And even if you're in a position where you weren't paid for it, I sometimes like to put those experiences still in my experience section. For example, when I was in graduate school, I was in the Graduate Student Association, and I wasn't paid for that, but I spent a lot of work on it, and I had a title. So I still put that in my experience section. So that's an option. But you'll notice when you put down an experience, you want to make sure you get the title, and then your employment type, the company, location, and then here's where you can put the description. Well, another thing I like about LinkedIn is you can add multimedia. So you can add external links, documents, photos, videos, presentations. So let's say as a psychology student, I worked in the research lab and I did a poster presentation at some point. I can upload that poster there. So if you can not only tell people what you bring to the table by listing your experience, but you can also show them. Let's say you did like a oral presentation, or there's a paper that you wrote, you can upload all that here. So someone that's coming to your profile can learn a lot about you and your capabilities. So that's going to be the experience section. And then the next section is education. Make sure you have the correct degree down. So you want to put down schools that you have or will receive a degree from. So if you maybe took a few classes at one college, but you didn't get a degree from there, or you just got some credits, you don't necessarily have to put that down. So if you got an associate's from a community college, or you transfer from a community college, you got an associate's, then you can put that down. But if you just transfer from somewhere, you don't need to put that school down. So you want to put down your school. When you put down degree, make sure it's not just bachelor's degree, but it's like bachelor's of science or bachelor's of arts, whatever your degree title is, because once again, that's going to go into some of those filters. And then of course, you can put down your GPA, activities and societies you're part of, and then a description of your degree. So let's say like for psychology, you put this degree had a heavy focus on behavioral analysis. You can put that down. Or for sociology, you can put this was a heavy emphasis on social justice or policy. Or you can put down your concentrations here as well. Another reason why you want to put down your education is because UOP, certain programs are known to produce certain qualities of students. So for example, with the psychology program, it's a heavy emphasis of behavioral analysis. So if I'm an employer and I've hired behavioral analysts from Pacific and they were good employees, then when I'm looking for new candidates, I can filter by UOP. So that's why you want to have the correct school down. You can also put down licenses and certifications, but this section here is a section I highly recommend. This is skills and endorsements. So here you can put down skills you believe you possess, and people who are connected with you can endorse you for that. So confirming, oh yes, Dan has that skill. Even if you just get a few people to endorse you for it, before this section, it's just you talking about yourself. But now you have an opportunity to have people justify or even give credibility to what you're saying about yourself. Because I can go on and on about being great at something, but someone who's worked with me, like a third party, outside an opinion, can kind of get that a little bit more umph to it. Going back to our analogy of you being a brand, think about the last time you bought something online or on Amazon or just a product in general. I'm sure you look at the how many ratings it got, especially if it's even more of an expensive item. So consider this kind of like your 1 out of 5 stars rating area. And like I say, even if you get a few people to kind of endorse you for this, it's gonna give it more credibility. Uh, and you can also take like these skill quizzes that LinkedIn has to even get it like a little badge. And I would recommend that if any of these link up to the skills that you possess. But you want to put down skills that are related to your field. So a good way to kind of anticipate what skills you'll need to start putting down is start to look at job postings and the skills that they're asking for. And then if you put down these skills, when you go to apply for LinkedIn, it'll tell you, like, let's say the employer puts down 10 skills that they're looking for. LinkedIn will tell you, oh, you have 4 out of the 5 skills that this position is asking for. So it'll give you kind of a better idea of how qualified you are for a position. A great way to get people to endorse you is for you to endorse them, kind of like the law of reciprocity. And then you can always you can pin your top 3 skills to this area, so someone's taking a quick glance can see the most important ones. So keep that in mind. If you have 5 to 10 skills, your profile's 27 times more likely to be viewed or seen. And the last section I'm going to recommend, go ahead, Tim.
Can you repeat that one more time? If you have how many skills?
5 to 10 skills, your profile is 27 times more likely to be seen.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because like I told you, this gives an employer a way to kind of bypass a lot of the clutter, right? If I know exactly what I want in a position or in a job candidate, I can put down they must have, like, let's say for psychology, then you want to have experience in SPSS, which is a statistical software, or have experience with statistics. You can the employer can put down like SPSS or Microsoft Office or something like that, and then it can knock all the people that don't put that skill down, so they don't have to waste their time going through candidates that don't qualify for something that they need. So yeah, Microsoft Office can be used as skills, but you can be more specific. You can even do like the specific Microsoft Office programs. And then this section here is called recommendations. Highly recommend this as well, or suggest that you have this. And this is an opportunity for someone who's worked with you in any capacity to kind of give like a little testimonial of what it was like working with you. So if you look at mine, I have students and I have coworkers, previous supervisors, other people that work at UOP. Going back to that idea of you being a brand, if you've ever gone on Amazon to buy a product, not only do you see the rating out of 5 stars, but you also see the customer comments. So both of those kind of go hand in hand to give you a good idea about this product. Even when you go on something like Yelp, like you can see which restaurant has the highest rating, but it's going to be so much more effective if you can see the customers' comments about why they like that restaurant. So this kind of gives more credibility. Once again, not just me saying things about myself, but people who have worked with me. So if I want to advertise and promote within my brand my ability to help people prepare for an interview, then I'm going to pick someone who I've helped with preparing for a job interview and have them write a little testimonial. So like I said, once again, a recruiter up until this point, if they've seen all of this, they know a lot about you. So, put in as much information as you can. People that can write these recommendations are previous supervisors, coworkers. If you're in a club or organization with someone, they can write that for you. Someone that you've been in a group project with. It can be someone that you've mentored or someone you supervise if you've been in that position. But like I said, just a great opportunity for people who come to your profile to learn more about you. So those are going to be the main portions of the profile. And then as far as the other sections of the profile you can include, you can just walk down here. You can include things like a volunteer experience, licenses and certifications. Can add in a number of things, so like publications, courses, projects, test scores, languages that you speak. And you can also add your profile in another language. So let's say I'm interested in working internationally or abroad. I can make sure that my profile is also seen in that particular language. So if I'm, let's say, interested in working in, I don't know, Berlin in Germany one day, and I want German speakers to see my profile as well, I can scroll down here and look for German and then put that in German as well. Okay, any questions about the profile before we kind of go into how to use it for networking? Okay, cool. All right, moving on to how do we use LinkedIn for our benefit and for professional development and also networking. All right, so first thing you're going to want to do is start to grow your network, right? You're going to have to get start to add people and become connections with them. Great place to start out when it comes to growing your network is to go to Pacific's page. So anytime you click on a logo, it'll show you that organization's page on LinkedIn. So every school pretty much has their own page. Businesses also have their own pages. When you particularly go to colleges, they have this button here called alumni. So I'm going to click on that. So this will populate all of the individuals that have LinkedIn in their profile. For the most part, they're students or alumni, but you'll see that there are about 39,000 individuals that have Pacific in their profile. And you'll find out that when networking, it's always the most effective to network with people you have something in common with. Because if you have a common bond with that individual, they're more likely to give you the time of day and they're more likely to help you. So you can see a lot of great helpful information in this area. So you can see where they live, where they work, what they do, what they studied, what they're skilled at. So if I'm a psychology student, I can go down to what they studied, and you can also type in your own keywords and filters, and whatever you click on or whatever you input here, it'll filter the individuals down below. So let's say I'm just wanting to start out with adding my psychology classmates. I can click on that. Whoops, reload this. Shouldn't happen. I'm connected to Ethernet. But while this is waiting to load, it'll essentially filter all the people that are involved with psychology down below. And then you can even, let's say you're not wanting to get people that graduated in 1900, you can control when they attended Pacific if you're trying to just start off with your classmates. Okay, so for psychology, now I'm down to 1,700 people. So this is not only great for like growing your network, but also if you're just interested in knowing what people are doing with your same degree, it can give you some indication as to different career paths that you hadn't thought about. Because obviously, if they have the same education and background as you could probably do that job too. And then if you want to talk to them about it, you can reach out to them on LinkedIn. So when you connect with someone, I suggest you go to their profile and you kind of take a look at it. And then if you know that person directly, or if you had a class with them and they will recognize you, you can just hit connect. But when you hit the connect button, you'll notice that you can add a note. So if you don't know that individual, just kind of give them a little note as to why you're contacting them. So just say, Hi, Chris. My name is Dan. I'm also a psychology major at University Pacific. Would love the opportunity to connect. So that's how you can kind of grow your network. Okay. Any questions about that? Another way you can, so that's going to be how to grow your network. Start off with Pacific and then grow from there. And then, how to use LinkedIn on a day-to-day basis is just you have to populate this platform with stuff that's interesting to you. So anytime you pull up your news feed, if you do a good job at inputting information and following individuals that are related to your interests, you can every time you upload is going to be something interesting. So as a psychologist or as a career advisor, I follow a lot of recruiters. So I get to stay on top of what recruiters are saying to students and what certain employers are looking for. So then I can use that knowledge to better inform my services. But if you type in any topic into the search feature, so let's say I'm interested in I'm a psychology major. So if I put in psychology, and you can be very specific about what you're looking for, but you'll see that there are jobs, people, posts, groups, companies, schools, events. So for jobs, it'll bring up all those jobs that are related to that specific field. And then for people, as you can see, there are about 6 million people, 6.5 million people that have psychology somewhere in their profile. So this tells me that there's a lot of individuals you can connect with if this is your major. Same thing as sociology. Let's see, sociology. If I go under people, there's about 2 million people. So there's a lot of, so all these people are on LinkedIn posting information and talking. So you can learn a lot about the field of sociology by just, looking at who's on there. And you can also be very specific. So let's say I am interested in maybe moving to, I don't know, the San Jose area. And I want to meet people that are sociology related in that area. I can put location and then put, let's say, San Jose, California. Now I'm down to 5,000 people. So this is a great way to look at what the job market is like in a specific area if you're thinking about moving there. So if I'm looking for like a social work position in the San Jose area, I can type in social worker and then put San Jose and see where these people are working. If you're like typing in the city and no one's showing up, then that might give you some indication that maybe the job market is not the best there. But this is also a great way to meet professionals, but also find out who the employers are in that particular city. So now you can start to develop a list of employers that you're going to be focusing on. So you can do people, you can do like if you hit post. So anytime someone posts anything about psychology, sociology, I love this because this is a great way to kind of see what people are talking about and staying on top of news and current trends. And every time someone seems interesting to me, I can just hover over their profile, and if I can choose to connect with them and send them that note as well. On the second page of the LinkedIn checklist, I have a little template of how to contact people you don't know when it comes to like networking if you're in a job search. The key to networking is to approach it any way you might with if you were just meeting a person in any other social context. Especially if you're looking for a job, a lot of people will send people a note on LinkedIn and say, "Hi, my name is Dan. I'm currently looking for employment. Would love to connect and see if you know about any opportunities." If let's say someone came up and said that to you who just met you or who doesn't know you. Like, I don't know you, right? That's a lot to kind of take in when you're first meeting someone. So where people go the wrong direction when it comes to networking is they start off asking for stuff. Like, if I don't know you or anything about you, why am I going to refer you to a job, right? So in the second page of the LinkedIn checklist, if you're in the job search, you want to view networking as a way of acquiring knowledge, not necessarily getting opportunities. because the knowledge that you get from having conversations with individuals is the knowledge you can use to apply to get a job. But if you start, asking for opportunities and jobs like that, people are going to be turned off by that or not even respond to you. So when you reach out to someone, you want to reach out to them, just have a conversation about their experience in the field, and then use that knowledge in order to better inform what you should be doing. So if I want to be a social worker in the San Jose area, I can have a conversation with 10 social workers in San Jose area about what they did to get to where they are, never even mention jobs, and take that information I learned from 10 people and better apply for jobs. Go ahead, Tim.
Would that be the equivalent of like asking somebody to do a informational interview? Like, hey, I'm just looking to get a little more information. I would love to hear about your experience, kind of thing.
That's exactly what I'm recommending.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So an informational interview is when you just chat with someone about their experience in a particular field or career. So when you reach out to someone, you start mentioning jobs and opportunities, you're kind of insinuating or subliminally saying to them, like, when we have this conversation, you need to deliver on something. And you'll find most people are helpful, but what if they don't have an opportunity, right? They might not engage with you. And some people might just assume that that's rude. So by having informational interviews, you not only get a chance to learn more about the field, but you also have an opportunity to build your network, because that person might not have an opportunity available at that moment. But like, let's say something does come up, you'll be someone that pops into their head. So that's how you kind of want to network, as a way of acquiring knowledge as opposed to acquiring opportunities and jobs. So for posts, that's something you can look at. Another great area are groups. So if you've ever been on Reddit or a Facebook group, these are areas for individuals who are interested in the same topic. They kind of congregate and chat about it. They'll post opportunities, they'll post articles. So this is a great way to just stay on top of what people are talking about in your field, and also to learn more about opportunities. So if you're wanting to meet people in the San Jose area that are in social work, you can put into the group a question like, hey, does anyone know anyone that works within social work in San Jose area? And because these groups, a lot of them have so many people in it, there's always going to be one person that responds to you. So you can be a part of really large ones, or you can be part of really small ones. So I'm a part of like national career services groups, but I'm also a part of like smaller ones like men of color in career services. So you can choose the breadth of the groups that you're wanting to join. So that's going to be my overall suggestion, is when you, like I said, when you reach out to someone, or when you start to grow your network, it's going to be important that you approach it as a way to acquire knowledge and not as a way to just get something out of someone. And when it comes to networking as well, if you kind of view it as like a shallow give and take, you give me something, I give you something kind of thing, then you're not going to do well at LinkedIn, work well at LinkedIn or networking. Because when it comes to, and I'm just going to wrap up here since we're a little bit less on time, and leave some time for you to ask questions. But when you, if networking feels shallow to you, then you're probably being shallow. So you can tell when you're talking to someone if they're just trying to get something out of you, right? So my suggestion is, when you're networking, build bridges way farther in advance before you need a job. It's a lot easier to network when you have before you need a job. And you can kind of tell how people interact with one another when someone's really in the thick of a job search. There's like kind of like a sense of like desperate kind of vibe to it, and that kind of turns people off. So if you can network and just get to know people before you actually need an opportunity, when you actually do need to reach out to some of these individuals, it won't be just like, your cousin that's only calls you when they need to borrow money. You'll be contacting and talking to someone that that you've been able to build like some type of relationship with. And the great thing about LinkedIn is you can kind of take advantage of the fact that it's online, because usually we say you kind of update your networking connections every few months or every 6 months. But if you're posting information on LinkedIn and you're liking stuff and you're commenting on things, then it's going to show up in that person's newsfeed. So when you contact that person, it won't seem like you're just coming out of nowhere. They've been able to keep on top of what you've been doing. And if you come and see me for an appointment, I can give you a little bit more information about how to particularly use LinkedIn as a way to use it to get whatever moving closer to whatever career goal you have. But a great way to kind of see if people are looking at your profile, and this will be the last thing that we look at, is if you go to your profile. LinkedIn makes it pretty easy for you. They add this section here called a dashboard. So it'll show you who's viewed your profile, your posts, or how many search appearances you showed up in. So if you're looking at this and it's near 0, that means you probably aren't being active on LinkedIn. So anytime you post, like repost an article or anything like that, people will see it and people will start viewing your profile. But search appearances is important as well, because it'll show you where the people who are looking at your profile, where they're working. And then it'll also show you the different areas and type of people that are looking at your profile. So if you see that like recruiters are looking at your profile, then that's a good thing. And then it'll also show you how to improve your search, future search appearances. And it'll also show you kind of like terms people are using. So I showed up in like coach or director of career services. So it kind of shows you that the keywords aren't important. But like I said, come and see me for an appointment and we can talk about your profile so I can get a little bit more information about what your goals are. Then I can better guide you in the right direction. But does anyone have any questions about LinkedIn or any questions about networking I can answer in the last couple minutes that we have? I guess I did a thorough job then. So once again, my name is Dan Shaw, and you can reach me you can connect with me on LinkedIn, but you can reach me by going to Handshake, and you can see all the times I'm available to meet. If those times don't match up with the times you're available, then I can make an adjustment and meet you at a different time that better suits when you're available. For example, Patrick, I'm sure Guam is in a different time zone, so if you want to meet at a different time that better fits when you're not sleeping, or at 11 o'clock or at 3 in the morning, then let me know. But hopefully today was useful to you all, and hope to see you all in the near future. And even if you're just kind of looking for job search strategies, or figuring out what you want to do before you graduate, or how to get an internship, let me know. But you all have a wonderful day.